success.
The most entertaining part of football is the athleticism. The hits. The contact. The catches. The jukes. Every aspect of the greatest gladiator event on planet Earth puts on display how much the human body can withstand before giving out. Where short careers are standard and injuries are brutal, people spend their entire weekends watching boys and men run into each other at high speeds. And to be fair, it's so fun to watch.
Set.
My favorite part of football, thanks for asking, isn't something people pay attention to when they're watching the games, but it's the most repeated action. I find quarterback cadences super cool. Every quarterback has their own spin on how they initiate the snap. Just like the pop of the catcher's mitt after a pitcher reveals their personalized motion, I can see the individuality of every human being behind every cadence. It isn't just that though. It exposes that one of the harshest stereotypes about football is utterly wrong. Football players aren't stupid. When you think of football players, you think of stupid. Maybe there's one or two things that come up before you get there, but all roads lead to Rome. During their rigorous training, where are they supposed to find said time to pontificate about the goings-on of non-athletic regular persons like you or me? It doesn't help that the academic inner world of football is viewed negatively. In a strange way, that very same viewpoint helps my argument. While we're watching them on the couch or in the stands, there's an entire mental game being played. That's the reason quarterback cadences exist actually. The different vocal patterns make sure that the offensive players operate in unison. It serves as coded language for adjustments and deception. That's why I think one of the jobs that shares similarities with being a software developer is an NFL head coach. It sounds outlandish and wrong, partially because it is. The salary disparities for one.
Sean Payton's making $18 million per year.
The stakes for two.
Dolphins fall to 1-6 on the season after suffering a beatdown yesterday to the Browns.
The difference in immediate authority for three.
Not fun, but not the end of the line.
And the unforgettable fact that there is no randomness in programming, but there is in football.
Halloween this past week, and a black cat is running across MetLife Stadium.
Ignore those for now and let me show you something. Close your eyes. You just became an NFL head coach. It's your first day on the job. You're in a new office, there's a fresh coat of paint, and the outline of the nameplates of the previous head coach are just starting to disappear. You came from another system, perhaps from an entirely different level that isn't the NFL, and you carry those play calling biases from said system. Maybe you're an air raid ranger.
A 38-yard bomb from Singler to Cliff Branch.
You like big plays, tight spirals, a ton of offensive yards through the air. Maybe you're from the West Coast.
Every step counts, the timing of the play itself. Every step by a receiver, certainly every step by the quarterback.
Where you were taught to keep everything short, high percentage, and rely mostly on timing to get your quarterbacks and receivers on the same page. Maybe your guy isn't even the quarterback.
Left, turn and handle Lynch left side. Find a little bit of a hole, keeps his leg moving. He's across the 40, midfield, 45, he's on the wrong way. 40, pushes the man, 35, look at him go. He's down to 20, 15, he could go. He is gonna go. Touchdown, Seahawks.
It's your running back, and you believe that running it through the defense's face over and over and over and over and over is the way to go. Now open your eyes. You're a software developer who just got hired to one of the big letter companies.
I believe the metaverse is the next chapter for the internet.
Good morning. Welcome to Apple Park.
A fresh new desk with a company-issued state-of-the-art laptop are waiting for you. A double monitor too. Maybe you're a fresh grad, or you knew a guy, or the guy was your dad. Regardless, you might feel something crazy imposter syndrome right now, especially since they hired you to work on this new thingamabob. Maybe you enjoy programming procedurally. You write programs like recipes, step-by-step instructions for the computer to follow. Maybe you program with objects, so your code is easier to maintain and reuse. Or maybe you program with pure functions because those are easier to debug. But how did you get here? The similarities between both roles start with the hiring process. Contrary to popular belief, it's not just one interview that decides your fate. Most of the time, you get interviewed before the interview actually happens. It's a high-risk hiring decisions for teams and companies, so they take the process pretty seriously, or at least they'd like you to believe that they do. The wrong coach can make or break a season. The wrong engineer can slow a team's pace down by months. So the higher-ups like to take a stalker-like approach. What you've done before the interview matters just as much as what you're going to do during it. Team testimony, clutch play calling, motivational speeches, and who the root of your coaching tree is matters even before the virtual interview happens. The same baggage is carried for people who want to be software developers. Projects, who your former employer was, and open source contributions stick on top of your head even before you turn the camera on. And due to how important hiring a good candidate is, the interview process looks like this. An initial screening, a technical assessment, an abnormally long on-site stage, and a behavioral section. 3 stages might seem like overkill, but depending on the company or team, they might ask you to complete 2 of each. But after months and months and months of deliberation, you sign your name on the dotted line and get the job. Day 1 for both occupations goes a bit similarly, outside of the press conference that is. The first rule is checking your surroundings. Odds are, the roster or the codebase you're being assigned is something you've inherited. The person before you stockpiled the picks you might have for the upcoming draft, or made decisions about the roster that you now have to adjust to. Both sets of leadership have probably given you a general goal like, prepare us for the next draft, or make the playoffs, ship this feature, remove the bugs, and let you go. The first thing you'll do isn't hold a practice or ship the new feature, it's read it. Programmers don't actually really code that often. What we do the most is read. Read the code and try to find contextual comments. Read other people's code and see if this solution works. With a job that drops nothing but problems on your lap, you'll spend most of the time trying to figure out how to solve those problems than actually solving them. You have to be aware of the technical debt that's being accrued, the frameworks the current code base is using, and the why behind the new features. Coaches read too, watch even. Most of the time that they have isn't allocated to coming up with a new play call, but seeing which play calls they need for that week. The injury history of the roster, player habits, potential matchups, and contingencies plans will always take up most of your nights. It's why they get paid so much. The ability to think, to sit down, parse through potential solutions, and find the best ones with the tools that they have. That's where the late nights come from. That's what they lose sleep for. And if they can't do it at a level that meets the requirement of the higher-ups, that's when the process starts over again. The cadence. The play calls. That's what it all comes down to. Fans hear it and they tune it out. A string of words and numbers that mean nothing if you're not on the field. But every player on that offense knows exactly what's coming. A wall of symbols, indentations, words that aren't words, logic that doesn't look like logic. And people make the mistakes fans make. They hear the cadence, hear the play call, and decide that the game isn't for them. But you know what's actually hard? It's not the syntax. It's the late nights parsing through a code base that you didn't write. It's trying to figure out what you were thinking 6 months ago when you first wrote that solution. It's the film study on a roster you've inherited. It's sitting with a problem long enough to find the right solution with the tools that you have. That's the job for both of them.